Hello and welcome to another edition of Luminar Coffee Break. I'm your host, Vanelli. Now our topic today is how to take our old Luminar looks and convert them to the new 4.3 format. So it's a real simple process. I want to walk you guys through it. Now a couple things which I think are really cool about this, it's going to teach you what tools, well back then they were called filters, what filters were used to create this look, and now what new Luminar tools were added to replace them. And you'll see just how incredible 4.3 is, and a lot of the new tools, actually one tool took the place of like 3 or 4 of the old filters. So before we get started, let's just take a moment and thank our partners. Fujifilm. Make images, share stories, and experience moments at the speed of life with Fujifilm. Thank you for staying at home with us. Well, hello everyone, it's great to see you. All right, let's just dive right in. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna open up the looks panel, and on the bottom, I'm gonna show you where we can get more looks. So I'm gonna click on, highlight for you. I'm going to click on Get More Looks, and it opens up the Luminar Marketplace. Now I'm going to come over here to Looks, and there are some looks, like here, you can download, it's Luminar 4. These are some of the looks you could pay for, and then there are some free looks that you could download. Here's Luminar 3 from Dixie Dixon. This is the look we were talking about. That's a free look, but it is for Luminar 3, and I'll show you how we can go back and change that. I'm gonna look down a little bit further. This other one you'd really like is the tonality. Here they are. Rich Harrington did this whole tonality one. Absolutely amazing. You'll love those. So here we are with Dixie's. I just had it a little higher. Here we go. And you just click on it, learn more, and then download it. Once you download it, it's going to be into your download folder. So now to install it, it's real easy. I'm going to come over, right up here, File, and then Install Luminar Looks. Add Luminar Looks collection. Here we are. Now, if you remember before what I mentioned, I like on my C drive to put a Luminar Looks or an asset folder here. Well, Luminar Looks is one of the asset folders I created, and I put all of my looks into that folder, so this way when I have to go back and reinstall them, I know exactly where they are. And let's see, here's Dixie Dixon's, and if you notice it says MP Lum Pack, those are all packs, which means there's several filters packaged into that one. And I'll click OK, and boom, it's already installed. And here they are, right here. So I'm going to click on Dixie's. Now, when I do this, let's click on Edit. You're going to notice a new thumbnail over here is going to appear, and it's called the Deprecated tool. So Deprecated meaning to strongly advise not to use. So we strongly advise you to stay away from them. Those are tools we'd rather you replace. So I'm going to hover over, and again, this is the new part of version 4.3, is that when you hover over one of these looks, it automatically changes, but it doesn't apply it. So I'm going to click on this rugged black and white, and it's going to apply the look. And once it does, let me get over it for a minute. There we go. I'm going to look off to the side. I'll just add it in. That is Dixie's, right? Yep. The Deprecated tool, well, it'll show up in one moment, will appear off to the side. Unless, did I already change these? One moment. And interesting. So, all right, so let me go back And it appears I've already changed those. So I know tonality needs to be changed. So let me click on one of these. And while I'm here, let me just double check something for a moment. Here I am on Luminar. Yep, Luminar 4.3. Dusty film. And let's see, the Great Depression. I love these looks, but it appears, this is so cool. All right, so what's happening now is these looks are already being applied. Let me just double check just to make sure, because I know that there's no way we could have already transferred all of these tonalities and updated into 4.3, because they were specifically designed for 3.0. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to close out of Luminar just for a moment. And then I'm going to relaunch it. Make sure I do have the correct version. So I have the latest version of it. And let's come over here. And there's Dixie Dixon. There we are. Okay, so while I was experimenting, I was bouncing back and forth between older versions and the newer versions just to make this work. So here we are now. If you notice here that the deprecated filter right here it's going to appear. Now, when I click on this, this is going to show me the different tools that were being used, or I'm sorry, the filters that they called them back then are being used to create this particular look. So what we need to do is mimic them. So watch how we're going to do this. I'm going to come back down to history, and I want to start fresh, but I'm going to come up to the layers palette, and I'm going to create a new stamp layer. Now, by creating a stamp layer, I just merged the bottom layer to the top layer. So any changes I make on this bottom layer is not going to affect the top layer. So I'll come back over here. Here's that rugged one. And let's see, sepia. You know what? I like the sepia one, but let me just look at the ones here. I definitely want, rugged will give us more to work with. So I'm going to click on rugged. And now I'm going to come back up to the top stamp layer, and notice it didn't change. It's the original because the bottom layer is totally independent from the top layer because of the stamp layer. So I'm going to click on rugged, and now they're identical. So what we're going to do is this. Once we make a change, we'll shut this layer off, and this is what we're hoping is going to happen. It'll look almost identical to the bottom layer. So here I am on the top layer, and now we're going to start with the different tools. Now, we have clarity, structure, white and black, tone, and exposure. Now, I personally know, exposure, tone, white balance, or white and black were replaced with one tool, and that's the light tool. Here it is, white and black right here, and exposure. So I knew that. Now, if you're not familiar with which ones were switched, watch what we're going to do. We'll click Help, and we're going to click on the user guide. Once this comes up, I'm going to type in the word tone. And here it is, filters to migrate. And there's that tone filter, and the tone filter has been replaced with the essentials, with light. All right? So if I'm not sure which of these here, the deprecated, which ones of these deprecated I should use for the new tools, I just showed you how to go to the user guide, and then you type in, let's say, structure, and it'll show you structures being replaced with AI structure. So I know clarity. I'm going to turn it off. That's what it's going to look like. turn it on. And then let me get rid of my looks just so we have more room. So here we are now. Now comes the finessing time. So I'm going to shut clarity off. And under the essential tools, personally, I like to use AI Enhancer because that's automatically going to improve color, detail, tone, and depth of the image. So I'm going to use that one first. All right. Now, I already know it improved the blacks and the white, so I don't really need to go to the light tool yet. So let's do this. I'm going to turn this off. Ooh, look at that. What we're seeing right now is the bottom layer. There it is, on, off. So the bottom layer looks a little darker than the top layer. All right. So AI Enhancer, if I come back down here, I know it already took care of the tone for me. So I'm going to hit the reset button. And it took care of the blacks and the white. I'm going to hit that. And I'm going to leave the structure and actually it also took care of the exposure for me. There it is. So now the next two, well, we have clarity, which yes, it did. So I'll get rid of that. Structure is the next one. So I'm going to come back up to the top. And here we are. There's the bottom. Here's the top. Now I'm looking closely and okay, the bottom has more structure. Look at her face than the top one did. But as for the tone and for the exposure, all that looks pretty much the same. So I'm going to come over to AI structure. Now that's not going to affect her. It's only going to affect the surroundings. So I'm going to increase the structure a little bit. That's it. It doesn't seem like I did a lot, but I know it did. Look at that, before, after, just a little more. Before, after, good. Now let's see. Ooh, look at that. All right, so the sharpness is there. What I need a little bit more now is contrast. So I'm going to come back down to the deprecated filter, and I got structure set, so I'm going to reset. So now I went in and I just replaced the tools that I normally would have to use to get the look similar. So here we are again, before, after. Well, I definitely want to come down here, or I'm sorry, to the essential tools, and I want to check out detail. Let's crank that up a little bit. Ooh, look what that's doing to her. And a little small. There we go. Before, after, good. So it's bringing her more into focus for me. Before, after. I like ours a little bit better, but if I want it to be identical to Dixie's, like this, now we have to make sure we do more of the toning or the contrast. So there's two ways that we could do this. We can come down to the Pro Tools, and if I want to add more of the contrast, let's say into the shadows. Here we go. And then for the midtones, ooh, look at that. It's going to bring back the texture of her skin. And then for the highlights. There we go here. All right, before, after. All right, now let's see how close we are. All right, so here's the original. Here's where we're at. I kind of like ours a little bit, but I do like the softness that Dixie did. So if we're here, what we can do is come up here with light, and let's just pop the exposure up just a little bit. There we go. All right. Before, after, let me try it again, before, after. So we're going to finesse it a little bit more. Let's bring this down a little bit, but I do want to enrich the blacks and bring out the whites just a little bit. Good. One, two, there we go. Okay, that's much better. Look at that. So I'm more concerned with her. I'm more concerned with her than I am with the surroundings. So here's before. And that's Dixie. So here we go one more time. Us. Dixie. So ours is a little bit sharper. So let's come down to Detail Enhancer and bring it down just a little bit. And last time, 1, 2, there we go. So, but look how close we are to the original one. Once we have it set, save the new look. Now Dixie called it rugged, black and white, and we can put it on we could put 4.3 so we know we added it, and I'm going to put A on it because earlier I created one similar. And I'll hit save. So now, if I want to use that look, notice there's no deprecated toolbox. So that shows me that all the looks right now are updated, or that particular look is updated to this particular, these tools. And I don't have any of the depreciated or the deprecated tools to worry about. Come in here. So let's try one more. So we have her here. I'm going to come down to, we called it black and white. Let's see, what did she, let's see what Dixie called it, rugged. Dixie called it rugged. And by the way, I liked how she labeled them 1 through 8. So that's what we should have done, or I should have done. This way it'd be so much easier for me to find it. So it's under rugged. There we are. 4.3. I can apply it to the new one. And there's the new look based on Dixie's settings. And again, from here I can tweak it and do what I want. So there you have it. When you catch yourself going through, let me pull this back up for you. And when you look at one of the old looks that you're dealing with, and let's see if tonality actually has it. Let me pull it back up. And I'm pretty sure it should. Here's old faded. Yep, it did. Okay, let me get a better looking one. Memories usually good. Okay, memories. So now you look over here to the side, and there's our little deprecated tool. And for this one right here, it's showing us if these are not highlighted, or they're not showing highlighted, that means that these were added, but they're not affecting this particular image. So you see structure and tone are the only two former filters that are affecting this look. These ones right here are not adding to any of it. They're not adding to any of it, so you don't need to do anything with it except give it an arbitrary number and then reset it. Same thing with color temperature. Just make a slight change, reset it, and clarity. Give it an amount, reset, and now the only two we have to worry about is structure, which cranked up way up to 100%, and the tone, which was smart toning, moving back just a little bit. So we could do that routine again by putting it on its own layer, so stamp layer. So then this way, once it's on that stamp layer, I can bounce back and forth between the original on the bottom and the new one on top. And if it looks extremely close to what you want, then just save it. And you never know, you may start altering these quite a bit, and then all of a sudden realize, ooh, what if I added this extra tool, and now you have a totally complete different look that you can add into it. So that's how we're going to change older versions of looks into the newer ones. So if you ever see that deprecated tool icon that tells you those are the old tools, check on the user guide to see which of the old filters were replaced with the new tools, and you can just change it from there. All right? Well, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. This tutorial came about because last night, every Wednesday, we have a 5:30 coffee, after hours coffee talk, or coffee break, and we had 3 special guests: Michelle Grenier, which is a Luminar ambassador, Mike Cabasi, the guy who shoots for NCS and all the TV shows, and then Mike Freeman, who's photographed every presidential candidacy since Jimmy Carter. So I had 3 of our close friends on. They were answering questions from how to get the most out of Luminar, to where what lens is a good choice to buy, what's a good camera to pick. So if you're free on Wednesdays, 5:30, join us. The information is in the description below. And if you like what you're seeing, please give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you at the next coffee break.